welcome. If you're watching this video, you are probably in your initial stages of exploring whether or not to implement team-initiated problem solving. During this time, you're probably asking the questions of what resources do we need to make sure that this will be implemented with fidelity and make sure that this can sustain within our system. You're most likely either within the exploration, adoption, or installation stages. So let's take a look at a tool that you can use to help to identify whether you are ready to implement team-initiated problem solving. This is the TIPS Readiness Checklist. This checklist contains 10 items that are divided into 3 different categories. We start off with just district commitment. In other words, is this going to be seen as being well established within the district or system for a long-term period? Are you going to have the resources at the district level committed so that you can implement TIPS with fidelity, both short-term and long-term? In other words, is the time going to be allocated for people to be able to access the training needs initially and ongoing resources and time needed for coaching or any other kind of booster session or training sessions? And also, is the district going to commit the time that's needed for coaching both teams and those individuals providing coaching supports? At the team level, we have to know that there's going to be the proper representation on the problem-solving team. In other words, are members within the problem-solving team going to be able to implement those solutions that they've identified during their meetings? Are they also committed and have the consensus to be able to implement TIPS as our problem-solving model? And again, are they going to be available to be able to attend the initial training and any other coaching sessions or booster training sessions that are needed throughout the long-term sustainability of team-initiated problem solving? Our third area talks about data. Our team's going to have access to the right data at the right time during the meeting, before the meeting, and after the meeting so that they can inform their decision making. And is there going to be at least one team member who is present during the meeting who knows how to get into the data set and work within it so that we can continue with our problem solving? Here's a look at what the TIPS Readiness Checklist looks like. Let's take a closer look at the TIPS Readiness Checklist. It starts out with just basic information of who is completing the checklist and the date for when this is done. Dates can also be added for whenever this is modified or revised. We then have our TIPS Readiness feature, our status. In other words, is this item complete and done, or is it something that we need to continue on and have an action plan that says what steps we need to do to accomplish this task, and then who is going to do this and by when? So let's take a look at item number 1. This one looks at whether, again, districts view TIPS as a common practice that's going to be implemented for database decision making. For this one, we said this was complete for this West Holly team. Item number 2, again, are resources committed to implement TIPS with fidelity in the initial and long-term time period? Again, they felt that this was complete. We move down to item number 3, which looks at the dedicated time and FTE to be able to implement TIPS with fidelity. Again, this was complete and they feel this is well established. They get to item number 4, we're talking about attending training. This is a part where this is in process. They can't say this is yet complete. So now the action plan continues on. They're going to say what they need to do, who is responsible for doing that. Again, importantly, if the person who is responsible for completing this task is not at the meeting, we have to indicate who present at the meeting is going to tell that responsible party. And then the timeline for by when. And now the team would continue on with a team commitment and access to data. Again, any things that are in process, you want to make sure you have that action plan in place. And continually revisit this to update it or modify anything as status changes. We hope this has been helpful. And again, if you need more information or you want to be able to contact us more, feel free to either email us or look through any of our information resources, such as our tipsdoinfo.blogspot.com. We also are on pbis.org. And also we have a YouTube channel and an area that we can connect with other people who are currently implementing TIPS within our Google communities. If you want more information about this, please reach out to us and we'll make sure that we can get you established to help you implement TIPS with fidelity. Thank you, and again, we hope this has been helpful.